the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc. He's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government with a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other. He's Sean Thompson, and this is the Sean Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wait.
She's going to look terrible, man. That might be a quadruple X. Orange jumpsuit. And that big woman. Woo. Got some shoulders on her. Make Michelle Obama feel petite. Letitia has finally been indicted.
Back, we have some breaking news. Sources are telling the Associated Press a grand jury has indicted New York Attorney General Letitia James on a fraud charge. James was indicted in the Eastern District of Virginia on one count after a mortgage fraud investigation.
No, as you know, Trump has been pushing for charges against.
That's a shame right there. See, because it doesn't give you the perspective of what the scam is in politics. You know, earlier today, I had talked about Mike Lawler, a Republican from New York, who is a scumbag. Mike Lawler, who held up the one big beautiful bill, which cut taxes for everyone in the country so that New York mafia state could be subsidized from the rest of us through a rise in what they can claim on their state and local taxes called SALT. Now he's going to come to the rescue. He's going to be a hero. And then you look at Mike Lawler, a Republican. You look at where his money is. Now, his money isn't in anything he ever did in his life because he's a bust out. But in 1 year, he raises $8.2 million, all from lawyers and Wall Street and all scumbags that want to be subsidized from our dollars. So this theater that we see now called the shutdown, it's just that. It's television and soap operas for stupid people. That's what it is. But Letitia, rather than talk about Letitia, she's just doing what Joe Biden did in the 70s. Joe Biden bought a DuPont mansion in 1980, 1981. He didn't have any money. The mansion at the time was $800,000 or $700,000, which back in the late 70s, big money. As a senator, he made $67,000. How did he do it? Because you get a crooked mortgage company like Countrywide, and they give you a sweetheart deal, and they fudge the paperwork. And by the way, half the time they don't pay the mortgage, and if they do, it's out of their war chest. It's not like you and me busting our ass and sweating for mortgage payments. Chris Dodd, that's my absolute favorite. If you don't remember politics, Chris Dodd, he was a John Boehner Kennedy, as if they had an unholy forest preserve baby. He was a drunk who combed his hair and thought he was Ted Kennedy. He was on the take for Countrywide, too. 2003, and his wife and him, they refied 5,000 times. Well, this scandal comes out in 2008. And the head, or the CEO, was his buddy. They're all friends. They all hang around. They go golfing. And he admits he gave him, at the time, a sweet, like 5 points off the mortgage. There were no costs in the beginning. He basically never made the mortgage payment. Chris Dodd. And you know what the penalty was? Gatsangul. He went on to name a bill called the Dodd-Frank. By the way, Barney Frank, same fracking deal. Same deal. They all get the same deal. Not like me and you and your kids and your fathers. This whole fracking government, it's all about the illusion of what it takes to be a decent person versus the scum of the earth, whether it's Chris Dodd or Barney Frank or Letitia James or Mike Lawler. I'm throwing you in the mix, stupid. That you were ready to sacrifice everybody in this country for your crooked, mafia-run New York. It's absolutely nauseating. So when you hear this slander by these, I guess they're reporters, right? This child who got a job at CNN, what the frack does she know? Could she name anything we just talked about? Does she have any concept of Countrywide and Chris Dodd or Barney Frank, this stupid idiot?
James for several months posting on social media without citing any evidence that she's guilty of anything.
Here you go, you stupid fraud propagandist moron. You got a big job, though, on mainstream media.
In 2023, papers show she claimed a house in Norfolk, Virginia as her primary residence. That qualifies for a lower mortgage rate. But you know, at the time she's been serving in public office in Albany, New York, that's 500 miles away.
You cannot buy a piece of property and state that you're going to occupy it and not occupy it. When you buy a property and you acknowledge you are going to own or occupy it, your down payment criteria is different, as well as your interest rate. The interest rates normally on an investment property will be anywhere from 3/4 to a full percentage point higher.
This is for us, the plebes, the serfs. But notice that these morons in media with no evidence. We've had the evidence for years. And just like Chirac, just like New York, New Jersey, pick Philly, pick a Democrat enclave. The judges and the government are scum, mafia, insulate each other from the realities we all face. This evidence been there for years. And that fat pig lied about saying her father was her husband to get a VA loan. Scumbag with her big ass. That's got to be a yardstick ass crack.
You will also have to most likely pay discount points, which is an additional cost at the time that you closed on the property. If it shows on her settlement statement she didn't pay discount points, she got an owner-occupied interest rate. In order to be an owner-occupant...
You know what I get aggravated about? How many hundreds of thousands of people today just got denied to buy a house. Just got denied because they did everything right. But this fat slob bust-out Democrat, she got how many mortgages? 4? 3? Doesn't matter. They're all frickin' lies.
Of a piece of property, you must live in the property for the first 12 months after purchase.
And
No,
the
that's just us. When you're a Democrat, the rules are there are no rules.
referrals also show that she bought this brownstone in Brooklyn, New York, but misrepresented the number of units in it.
How do you buy a 5-unit property and turn it into a 4-unit property? You just cannot do that. When the appraiser goes into that property, they're going to see that there's 5 kitchens, 5 separate living quarters. She must have had some type of connection between herself and the initial lender and the appraiser in order to...
Maybe it's like that greasy scum Tony Resco and his real estate broker of the year that nobody saw, Rod Blagojevich's wife, when they assembled 2 separate parcels to make it look like the bust-out who was laid on his ghetto Bentley. Barack Obama could buy that creep show mansion he's got in Hyde Park. Maybe it's like that. It's all the same. The names are different. They are crooked as Grand Avenue. In the bank, the mortgage brokers, all the Democrats that touch these deals, all the same. Low-living, low-character Democrats.
Get away with doing this as a residential. The other fraud comes into play. She did it owner-occupied again.
Ooh.
Fannie Mae Freddie Mac says you can have multiple owner-occupied.
Now, you know what happens, right? Once they get this thief loan that they, by the way, these Democrat scum, they'll get a loan for a Great Dane if they want to. It goes into the system, and then the people buy it, and it's all mixed in with the good. And when this bust-out scum doesn't make her payments, what happens? We all pay the cost, just like 2009.
A new charge for Letitia James's mortgage fraud case as a document from Citizens Bank in 2021.
Oh, wait, let's get to the credit line. She's got a credit line on the thing, too. Mortgage to the teeth. And this slob gets a credit line.
Properties. But you have to live in it for a year, vacate it, and go find the next property. They can make this case really big and not only put her in prison, but a lender and the appraiser. And here's the other thing, too, that you have to remember. She did refinance this property using the TARP program that was approved in 2008. She was able to get herself a much lower interest rate, even though her income was much higher than what the individual is qualified to get. So,
like old Barney Frank, he was running a homosexual call club out of his brownstone in Washington, D.C. It's like Chris Dodd. Joe Biden bought a DuPont mansion. This is how it works. This is why when you look at who contributes to the congressman, the bankers. Oh, bankers do? Mortgage companies? Oh, mortgage companies. They contribute too, right? Because it's systemically corrupt.
She scammed it that way as well.
She bought another building with her father as co-signer, calling herself his wife.
By her co-signing with her dad to buy a piece of property and putting on the application as being married, they therefore were able to combine their income together and combine their debts together for qualifying.
Every decent Chicagoan, American, everybody listening to this show live and the podcast tomorrow, if you're not a crooked rat Democrat, you're going to jail for one of these offenses. This is 3 different fraud cases. 3 different properties. You're going to jail with 1.
Purposes. If she acknowledged that she was married, but she wasn't married, that's fraud. You cannot do that. Then we find out that she's married to her father. How is that possible? That's total.
Ilhan Omar married the brother, but, that whole thing with the culture and then the goat in the backyard, yeah.
Total misrepresentation. When we take a loan application on any individual, if they acknowledge they're divorced, we need to know that because we need to know if there's an obligation for alimony or child support. If you're going to tell us you're married to your father, what's the reason for this? Are you trying to pull a fast one in order for him to become the owner-occupant?
I just want you to know this. When you go home and you turn on the boob tube, or when you listen to some moron so-called reporter in Chicago, and this is a weaponization of No, it's not. It's just like Chicago, where the low-lifes cover each other's ass, and they insulate themselves in a mafia that used to be a great city.
Shows she listed her Brooklyn property as a single-family home to get a $200,000 credit line mortgage. Whoa. James is accused of misrepresenting her Brooklyn.
So on top of all of it, you needed another $200K to walk around, huh? Probably to get yourself in that Lane Bryant costume you wear. Where'd you go? The tent maker to get that? And you think it's exclusive to just the fat ones? No, the pencil neck geeks, they do the same thing.
Trump administration source telling The Angle that a criminal investigation of Adam Schiff is underway, conducted by U.S. Attorney's Office in Maryland.
By the way, Letitia James, her workout partner, that Lisa Cook on the Fed, same fracking nonsense. Same thing. And in there lies the real problem, because you're used to it now. Now it's normal, right? It's absolutely normal, and we'll just pretend that there are no real costs. Well, you know what the costs are? It destroys the cost of living, the pricing of everything for everybody who's decent. And if you're not good at making money, well, then that leaves you as one of the willful serfs to the Democrats who can't afford a decent life. So when you hear the nonsense of the communists that come around and they start preaching about giving everybody a house for free and taking things away and everybody deserves a house and everybody deserves food, that's how you get a susceptible acceptance of communism. And it all starts right here in the first original fraud.
Property officially documented as a 5-unit building as a single-family home on that 2021 mortgage application.
I wonder, would the new communist Islamo-Nazi mayor, would he seize that and turn it into the people's property?
To afford the more than 12% increase in rent-stabilized apartments under this Mayor Adams administration, and struggle to afford what has now grown more than $20,000 a year in childcare costs. And so what we are releasing today is the cost-saved calculator, where you can go to Zahran for NYC.com/.
There's not a communist or a socialist or a Democrat that can do math. So I dare you to download the calculator.
/calculator and see just how much each of these big 3 items will save you in your lives. Because when it comes to free buses, each rider will save over $2,000 a year. That's,
you know that? Free buses, you save money. Free rent, you save money. Free food, you're really saving money. You're going to live as good as a Soviet citizen circa 1968.
$1.3 billion a year for all riders. When it comes to universal child care, we're speaking about $22,200 a year, which together is $5.5 billion for every New Yorker across this city.
So who pays for it? Answer that, moron. Who pays for it? And the answer is, thanks to Republicans in New York, the whole country. Right, Mike Lawler? That's why anybody coming out of this rat hole, anybody that's used to this mafia leadership, I don't care if they tell you they're a Republican like Mike Lawler or they tell you they're a communist like the Islamo-Nazi, understand the destruction they do to everything because more people wish to be in on it than are repulsed by it. The good people, they already have a plan.
Start spreading the news. I'm leaving today. I want no friggin' part of it. New York, New York. These Hugo Boss shoes are longing to stray and take an Uber to LaGuardia, Ta-ta, New York. I want to wake up in a city
Too bad they could say any Democrat area. It's all the same. 312-642-5600.
He believes in freedom, capitalism, and individual liberty. And because of that, he's become an enemy of the state. He's Sean Thompson, and this is The Sean Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.